I request Amruta madam to take further.
Yes, sir. Good evening to one and all present here. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce our today's guest speaker, Miss Shweta H. Pandya,
Hello.
ma'am. Hello, ma'am. Hello.
Yes, you can continue, Amruta.
Yeah. Shweta ma'am has done 1 to 10 from Nirmala Convent.
Not able to
High
listen.
School.
Madam, are you not able to listen?
Evening to one and all present here. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce our today's guest speaker, Miss Shweta Pandya ma'am. Shweta ma'am has done 1 to 10th from Nirmala Convent High School, Rajkot, 11 to 12th from PR Modi High School, Rajkot, and she has also completed Bachelor of Dental Surgery from Gujarat University. After internship from January 2018, ma'am started preparing for UPSC. Meanwhile, exams came up. Shweta ma'am has cleared all 3 exams in first attempts, which includes SPIPA, GPSC prelims, and GPSC mains. She also secured all over rank 79th in GPSC in 2019 first attempt, GF 9th rank, and got GAS Gujarat Administration Services as a working as a deputy collector. Currently working as a probationer Mamlatdar at Tarapur Anand. Shweta ma'am interests include English is her favorite language. Area of interest had secured highest in subject in 10th and 12th board exams. Had cleared ESOL exams, Cambridge University at the age of 13 years in school. Hobbies include swimming since 5th class, writing, reading, and watching web series. Clearing UPSC to get IFS and IAS, becoming true civil servant of people is our motto. So we welcome you, ma'am, on behalf of ISTD Anand family. And as we all know, balancing is very important in each and every field, be it academics, professional, or sports. So today's topic is balancing work-life balance in today's world. So now I invite Shweta ma'am to start the session.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for such a kind introduction. Today's topic is about work-life balance. I hope I'm audible to everyone there.
Yes, madam. Please go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so work-life balance has been a very new term for me because people after graduation generally have work experience, but since preparing for competitive exams and recently past few months have brought me into this arena, so I will try to share as much as I can, but all I mean to say is I have a very narrow work-life experience. So on that, I will try to focus, but I will try to cover as much as possible from others' viewpoints, or especially in the new world, what I'm seeing. So I think let us start the topic. We have a great psychologist. You must have known about Mr. Maslow. He's given a beautiful work. He's known as Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It is a topic concerning the psychology. In this pyramid, he focuses on around 5 to 6 steps, where the first one is the base of the pyramid, which is basic needs. That is reflecting a person's psychology. Basic needs like food, water, shelter, which used to be a normal thing. Then above, one level above on the pyramid we goes, it is about his safety needs, like his security. A person finds safety After that, there is about belongings, love, and everything, psychological needs. And about high, there are two that is on top of the pyramid, if we see, and it is a self-actualization, potential, and everything. So this pyramid is relevant, I think, in every ages of the human population, where we find that person strives to complete the basic or the base of the pyramid of his basic needs up to the point of self-actualization. And going through this pyramid, we come to know that why we are here, why we do work, why we strive for the job, why we strive for everything. Then this is very well summed up. I think it will be available on the Google. I don't know how to share the picture of the pyramid, but I will try to send later. So firstly, I want that, is this session going to be one to all, or it's going to be a little communicative with everybody?
Everybody can communicate.
All right, that would be better. Okay, firstly, I want to know that from whatever audience we have present, what is the definition of work from your perspective? Can anybody share?
In general terms,
Hello.
whatever we do for in time, or whatever we do for our job, it is also comes under the work in terms of the corporate working, if we say.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much. Generally, it is seen that people divide the work in two ways. The one which they earn through it, right? The one which are through which the basic needs are complied or fulfilled. Now, the work in terms of what we do as a job or our profession, that is what people usually know. But I would like to enhance that it is a broader sense. It's not just about what we do in our 8 to 9 hour job shift, but it's rather a 24 hours summation what we do in our daily lives. So my focus today would be that we consider the work life balance not just about the main head or the sole earner of the family, but this balance includes each and every member of the family. Now, well, let us go a little broader ways, that how and when and why. Two, three root questions that we come to about work. Why do we do work? So, of course, man, we say, is a social animal in many ways, and so man has become materialistic too. We might not be knowing, but unconsciously, I would say that we are going towards a world which has become a more of materialistic or a more of consumerist world. Initially, if we see, then our parents or little elder generation, there were a generation of little satisfaction and contentment. But now that man has become more opportunistic, more diversified, and more materialistic, we strive to have more and more. We have that is so basically, I will say, a loop. We go through a materialistic loop where the aim for having some more brings us more materialism, more demand, which demands more workload, again, which brings more expectations. Such leads to more working hours. Such working hours then focuses on our work stress, and then a little mismanaged life, and hence again this loop continues. So it is a question that what are we striving for? Are we not finding a satisfaction or happiness in this loop? Now, it is very tough to go back to the times where we cannot neglect the present world. So in order to achieve that materialism, man will have to strive to work more and more. We cannot go back into the previous eras. But now that we know we have to work in this world, we have to have a balance, right? So this was like why we do work, I was concerning about. Now we'll focus about few questions. a few questions I would like you to know about. That are we satisfied with our single house, or just a few amenities that we have? Are we? Can anyone say?
We should be satisfied with whatever we have, but as a human nature, we keep on aiming high and high, and we want everything more and more. There is no limit to achieving anything.
That's right. The yearn for more, the yearn for bigger and better is striving us to more points ahead. So that is the cause of work nowadays, and the stress that induced is because of that achieving more and more causing us, and that is causing us little of imbalance in our life. Now we will see focus a little bit about the term balance. Balance has been a very critical word since ages, because balance is a funda of our universe. If we see a physics, chemistry, biology, or any other subject we take, we always have to go on a balance. Even if we see a simple pH scale, we have to be on a neutral pH, right? We cannot be too acidic or we cannot be too alkaline. So balance is a must, and so it is necessary. Try to portray hypothetical example. Now there is a person, suppose person Mr. Patel is there. Mr. Patel has been recently awarded the youngest CEO award, and he's very happy. He's very excited about his position and his hard work that he has achieved. After this, there are, I would like to portray some consequences, as in positive or as in negative. So positive consequences are that we find, firstly, that he has achieved a little social more prestige than what he was back then. He has achieved monetary gains and a little more gains in terms of amenities, luxuries as before. He can proudly, his wife say, my husband is a CEO now, his children or his parents, that my son has been a CEO and has been earning like anything, etc. So this is all the glittering things which is seen right now. But the negative consequences are also to be there, looked after. Since the person has been taken such a big responsibility, he has become more and more work oriented. He has to devote more time towards the company. Now, in unconsciously to maintain his position as this CEO, is trying to do overtime. He's trying to stress more. He can. He's trying to become more a person which hasn't been before. So after that, it leads to somewhat little quarrels at home. It leads to certain demands of his children, like the father is not giving them time proper to look after their needs, or demands like even just a simple demand, taking the child to play park, taking a child to play a simple game. He's not able to do and cope up with that. He's in fact even sometimes surrounded by his colleagues, which can be jealous or have leg pulling activity. So ultimately he's achieved the highest position, or the highest what we say self actualization of the pyramid. But that is that we have to look beyond that highest tip of the pyramid, that after achieving this, is the person finding himself balanced. So now he's standing at the edge of the pyramid, and now he has to balance everything. So for achieving the balance, he has to counter a few of the things which he has to do. Is his social life influenced? Yes. Is his social life compromised? Yes. Is the work life balance, which I talked in terms of his father, his mother, his two children, his wife, compromised a bit? Yes, it is little bit. We cannot have a pitch perfect life at the highest of the possible positions. That is true, because a person unwantingly have to devote or sacrifice his family and social hours. He sometimes have to even compromise in certain tasks like normal family functions. He has to compromise on little on his health part. But what about achieving life where he finds that point of self-realization which comes through it self-realization in terms that he has to little bit open up, change a little lifestyle and bring a balance. Now how can we bring a balance about this situation? I think whoever has been working since years must be having faced such consequences. Am I correct? Where one point of time we are not able to little contribute to our office hours and little not even contribute to our family hours. Is it true?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So I think for this problem to be solved, uh, we have to look after some innovative ways where we can find to achieve this balance. Before coming to terms in which we can find little more balance, I would like to focus that this context which I had given an example of CEO was only on the perspective of a male earner of the family. Being our India as a patriarchal society, mostly this is the scenario of society or the families. However, if we see more ahead, nowadays that the women are working women actually have a dual burden of work. I would like to little go through a small timetable. Married working women, usually in most of the middle class households, who is working, has to wake up early. She has to prepare tea, breakfast, food for their elderly parents, for their husband. In fact, she has to serve them. After that, she has to make food for the children, for herself, for the husband, then go to the job, then work over there for 6 to 7 hours, come back again, do some household works, then even help out children in making them learn, taking their study, looking after them. And after that, she might have a little few minutes for herself, and after that again the same day routine. So it becomes very tough. That is what I want to focus, that if we see nowadays in the new world, for women it has become more and more tougher, because in Indian society we still have a dual burden of certain things. For women, she has to work for her job hours too, and she has to work even for household works. We still are not at the position where we understand that the load sharing of both office hours and home hours should be equally distributed. So this is one of the important thing I think we should know. We should equally respect and share the load, especially of the women, because even if we see life of working women laborer, a laborer woman, she is doing the same thing which a tip-top office going lady, because even the working laborer women, she has to cook, she has to do the labor work, she has to feed her 2 3 children, and she has to even suffer some domestic violences and so things. But that is the true reality of the society, I would say. So I think once if we analyze from a women perspective view about the work-life balance, we can achieve more and more. There was a research or a scientific data of WHO once published, rather World Bank, that if India's women labor force participation is increased, then there could be around 27% cumulative rise in the India's GDP. Now that is a very, very good study, I would say, that such a percentage of rise is very much necessary, because a financially independent woman can balance both the things, the home, work, and the support which they get from family. So if they get a good family, the balance automatically happens, because if women takes half responsibility and on her part the female man counterpart or the other family members take the balance, it is a very, very good environment where children can strive for to learn from both parents equally. So that is one of the thing I would have loved to share. uh, After that, we'll focus, I think, on the points where we can achieve a little work-life balance. There are very hypothetical points which we usually find in research papers or the articles of work-life balance, where they claim that for work-life balance, the person should pursue their passion, have a little their own time, then they should reduce working hours, they should look after some charity work or do some social gatherings. That is very common thing. But what is needed actually differs from person to person, is what I would say, because every person has a different criteria of the balance. So first is analysis, self-analysis of this issue. What is the issue in my life where I'm not able to balance, or where I'm not able to? It might be possible a person may be doing very office hours or even at the home hours, but are we balancing only ourselves? Maybe the person is not doing the work life balance of their elderly in the house, or the person, or even their children. Sometimes it is possible that we may be neglecting one or the other part, because this, as I say, this is about family. The more we people become social, the more we become aware of the requirements, of the needs of our family. Because stress is only relieved by, I think, communicating. When there is always a lack of communication, people feels alone. People usually are not able to adjust to the new environment. But when that gap of communication is bridged, then it is definitely a lot easier. When a stress builds up in a person or not, it just is because of lack of communication, lack of talking. So I think for this balance, my first criteria would be to talk about, or what is the main thing which we are not able to share. And talking definitely relieves our stress. Other points which I've already focused about is equal participation among the family, balancing that things, looking for a good friends, looking for good colleagues, taking the inputs from them, or doing some things for needed for their own likings. Many times people suggest that you should do some yoga classes, we should go for music classes. But is it that actually what people say and we do to relieve our stress, or even we, or is it true? I mean, we should actually find what relieves our own stress. As I said, for me, my hobby is watching web series, or when I get time, my hobby is swimming. So this is what I know, or reading some good books, making some good quotes, good writing. This is what I do, or what I prefer. Somebody says that you should take some music classes, you should do something, dancing classes. I have never been doing it in my entire life, not even in school days. So, uh, as I said, it is all solely based on us, where we need to do what others tell is not needed. In fact, just taking day offs or small vacations are very cherishing. Small family trips, small business trips with good colleagues can even be refreshing. Small or vacations in some very far away places, they're really, really very rejuvenating. Also, I think for some people who have a very limited social life or who are not so social should look after having pets, because when you come home, very good greeting pet and spending time with them, it is a very big stress busters. I had once read somewhere that children who grew up with their pets, maybe a dog or cat, actually become more smarter and learn faster. I don't know how this hypothesis was based, but I think in most cases in the Western countries they adopt pets because the parents are, both of them are working, and children can socialize with very less time with their parents itself. So when we have some pets around us, we can definitely relieve stress, or communicating with the small kids or children, because they are the most innocent people around us. Yes, we sometimes if we feel that our colleague had pulled our leg, our higher ups had done so and so on us, it is very tough for us to cope up with such a negative environment. That's right, we feel the world is filled with such cunning and shrewd people. That's true, we get demotivated sometimes, especially when we are not praised for our efforts and all. But I think going home and looking after an innocent kid face, interacting with them, playing a little small game can in fact relieve us that no, there is still innocence in the world. So I think this is one of the factor which is very easy to be done, which we can definitely go through to relieve the stress. One more thing I'd like to say is nowadays, because of social media and gadgets and technology, we have become too much inclined to our phones or laptops that we are hardly not able to communicate. Yes, social media do act as a way of communication, but that is not it. It is after all a gadget, I would say. It cannot give you a personal touch where you would actually communicate with the live people. And I think many people would have felt such problems, especially in the lockdown periods. We do know that being alone or being not able to be social, not able to meet our near and dear ones itself creates stress to us. We did have gadgets with us during the lockdown period. We did have our phones, smartphones, laptops, or whatever demanded we can have on our fingertips. But still we were lacking something, and that was our interaction with our near and dear ones. I think people, it was very tough time for everybody, which pandemic has made a realize. And coming to pandemic, I think one more there is a benefit that pandemic has actually taught to many of the people work life balance at home, because most of people were working off home during these days, so they do know that even home demands certain level of work. So how can we achieve a balance by doing some kitchen work, doing some cleaning work, and interacting also online, interacting with their office colleagues online and doing the work. So I think it was one of the best example we can have, that we can do work and life balance in terms of home or in terms of office work. After this, I would like to say that intermixing of ourselves with different age groups, that is, as I said, first part is children, then is interacting with colleagues or whatever with our same age group, and third is about the elderly people or the people who have lived 2-3 decades before, that is our parents or our grandparents. I feel that sometimes when we look after some issues or the topics, we may get some ideas from them which would haven't thought of, like certain new innovations. You can have an innovative idea from teens nowadays, or you can have a great old experience into some topic from our elderly people, which we might not have thought of, we would have neglected, or it give us some totally different viewpoint than what we are thinking. So this stress can be shared by interacting with a different age group and connecting psychologically with different age group. This example I'm giving because being a dentist, we interact with both pediatric and geriatric, that is old age patients. If we look, that is they both age group are very different to get a rapport with. That is taking a small kid, convincing him or her to come to the dental chair, getting its mouth open is itself a big task, because they are not so accustomed to strangers. In the same way, if we see, if you deal with the geriatric patients, they are very tough to come to rapport sometimes. We need to very good convincing power, as this will be good, because they are many times they are reluctant to get their treatment done. They are hardly very convincing. We need to cater them slowly and explain everything, and then build a rapport with them. So working with both the age groups tells us that both field have given a both different experience and ideas to deal with people. Some insights they give us which we might have not thought of, which we don't know even that this could be done. In some ways it is said like children and old age people are kind of similar, because આપણે કહીએ છીએ ને કે મોટા બી નાના છોકરા જેવા ક્યારેક behave કરતા હોય છે, because that is true in some cases. For example, during our patient interaction thing, when we used to say that please hold this in your mouth, you have to take it. Okay, it is a saliva ejector. We sometimes give them to hold, but they won't hold. Being a 70-80-year-old patient, or being a 7 to 8-year-old patient, when they don't want to, they will not hold it. But that is what we teach them, that no, you have to hold. We have to have some techniques, that this is the way you need to be done. So summing up that point is that we can have different ideas from different age groups by interaction. One more thing is that usually we think that we have problems and issues in our life, and we are not able to look through our lower or rather people who are under us, under our guidance, or working under our offices. For example, suppose I'm working here in my office, then there are many different people, being coming from the clerk level, or coming from class 3 cadre, everything. They too have their own different requirements, their own different problems. So listening to their problems and listening to other life people's struggle, we may realize that we are at a much seasoned position than what they are. We are at a much established than they are. So I think that is what we need to see. For work-life balance, it is very necessary that we know, not only talk about our lives, but we sometimes try to analyze and understand the lives of other people, and how much efforts and patience that they have work to do. Then sometimes maybe it's that we are complaining of our own selves, that this is not happened perfect, this is not going okay. Maybe we are complaining wrong. We should do little self analysis, that everything is perfect, but maybe I'm itself complaining more about this thing. That is quite possible. So a little self analysis, that what are we actually lacking and what are we yearning for. That difference is very necessary in this case. Others are just as routine ideas, as giving talking, like having healthy discussions at workplaces with your friendly people, or taking us time for personal space or hobbies, or having different kind of meetings and informal meetings rather for these things. Info After coming into this field, that is an administration field, what I have, I would say one point, that sometimes there are certain problems or issues where our higher ups are not able to judge what we are saying, because ground reality is different and what they are trying to tell us is different. It is usually faced by every one of us. So there are certain limitations where we can make them explain what's the actual condition in formal meetings. There may be some issues where I'm correct or we are correct, but we are not able to actually explain them. So if we are the head, or if our head is above us, we should actually suggest them, or if you are the head itself, then you should try to have some informal talks and meetings with your higher ups, or even when you are head, you can have with your office people, because that is very much necessary to understand the ground reality problems. Letter to letter communication usually happens, which asks us to do this and that has to be done within this time frame, within this time limits. It is true, we have to do it, but why the person is not able to do it, what is the root cause behind them, that is to be understood. So that could bring us, I think, that informal talks or informal meetings, meetings like going on some informal meetups in some good places. Of course, not in today's scenario of the COVID, but in a general sense, I mean. Or we can have small meetings in far away village areas or fields, into the fields, from the office hustle and bustle, and such typical brick and wall environment, away from them. I think that could be leading us to healthy discussions and more innovations into our life and into the workspace. Always going through the tradition, that is what comes up from above, shall be continued ahead, is need to be changed. I feel we need to bring some innovation, some new terms to our life to bring some change. These are certain things. One of the other thing I would like to say is, if we talk about new younger generations, like the one we are, who are from 20s to 40s, who are in work culture or such things, they are nowadays suffering literally a lot of pressure from the job, or mental stress, mental depression, anxiety, which they even do not know. I would like to quote a recent example. Just 3 days ago, one of our class 3 employees' daughter committed a suicide, and she was around 15 years of age. And the issue was, she was nearing her board exams, and the study pressure was the reason behind this thing. So this is becoming a reality nowadays, that people, she might be suffering from depression, she might be suffering from anxiety long back, but that lack of communication or the talks with her parents or with her surroundings, that healthy environment was definitely missing, I think, where she would have shared her stress, or she would have shared her problems or issues, rather, being a be with the teacher itself or school environment, or even with her home environment. Lack of communication and lack of self confidence, we could say, that was missing, and that had lead her to take such a big step. Big means that anxiety, that stress, that depression need to have been diagnosed at a very early stage, I would say. So uh, this healthy interactive culture at work or at home or any other environment that we go is very much necessary, because as I said before, having ourselves into technological mobile aided world, we are actually being aloof from our near dear ones. Maybe the girl would have read something on her phone, maybe something from her friends, which she didn't find it convenient to share. That pressure she couldn't have shared. So as we say, the social media is a boon itself and it's a curse itself. We need to find some ways for a younger generation to cope up with this, I think. And that thing shall be taken only by the elders, very much needed, I would say. So such counseling, such talks, some interactions, or looking for motivations whenever needed, we should be having. I think when bringing innovation in these ways in our office culture, we can have suggestions. I think we can ask our heads that please bring us some motivational speakers, TED speakers, stand-up shows should be frequently made up. It is very much necessary and becoming the need of the hour, I would say. In fact, a small example, I would say, like employee would be asking that please grant me a 1 day leave. I have certain function. Please give let me do up and down from the residence he wants to come around. If the employee is sincere enough, I think that should be understandable by the employer. If we find that the person is not taking holidays, worked hard, have given projects on time or before time, then we should be having a flexibility in dealing with those things. In both the ways, I would say, being a good employee also, it's our duty that we complete our duty first and demand the holidays. But a healthy work-life balance also demands flexibility. This is what I want to prove. And a very good example is given by recently by New Zealand's Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern. She has given a commitment that she will reduce working hours and give a 4 working day a week for people, I think, post-COVID times. That is a very laudable thing. And I would say bringing women at the decision-making stage has changed very things. She has become a, I think, very good role model in bringing changes as a prime minister, which the world has ever seen till now. Bringing new dimensions into decision making by a women is very much necessary, and this is one of the example, I would say. After this, main thing is balance, and here I would say moral boosting. One more thing, moral boosting is very much necessary in terms of work and in terms of life. Sometimes we fail to appreciate the person where they have done a lot. It may be happening in the office hours, where you see that your colleague or a friend has done a marvelous work job, but due to some of the other factors, we take it lightly or take it for granted, that we don't appreciate that thing. Or when the person comes at home and would share his such a wonderful or marvelous example which he has done at the office, or which then his wife or his family fails to appreciate that step, taking at just a routine work. I think that is need to be changed. We should find a little time for appreciation. That appreciation can bring us a lot of wonders. It's just a simple thing, like even in school days, if we were given a small star or a grade that that the student has performed very well, that has boosted the students moral to 100 times, I would say. I would quote one example here. Recently on 8th March, it was 12th March, sorry, International Women's Day, and I was invited in the office in a school to encourage children. So I one of the boys, that is, please come and speak little about women. Women's Day is not solely about understanding or taking the audience of women. It is more to be understood by men. So after that I said, only that student will come to speak who has never ever stood up and spoken ever in life, but he should be coming here and change that ice and break that ice. And one of the student, definitely his name came above, and he was so nervous that he was literally shaking while talking. But every student present there appreciated or lauded his that is his step, that he came forward and took the mic in hand, and he spoke that I love my mother, I appreciate her, and just 2-3 lines he was able to speak. But that boosted his morale so much, that boosted his confidence, that he first time came to speak over the stage. And that is what I feel, an appreciation or moral boosting at home or at office is very much necessary. 1 2 year kid would come and tell us that I have made a very good block building. Please say, maybe block building is not so well constructed by the kid, but appreciation by us, or teaching them, okay, you have done very good, just you have to fix this, that will be very very effective in even that child's life. So that is one of the point I would say, that for that balance we should learn or inculcate to have a habit of appreciation or moral boosting of others. I think coming towards a little end, I would say we will not be able to reverse the era which we have come to. We have to deal with some stressful days, stressful life ahead. But keeping such factors which I think normally analyzing, as I said, self-analysis, we can uh, come to good conclusions and definitely improve ounce by ounce our balance of this work and life. We should try to give a little stress-free environment to home and maintain the balance of work and life, that is of not ourselves only, but of every member of a family, because we are totally interconnected. We are connected in all ways: work of their life, work of our life, balance of their life, balance of our life. So this is what I would sum up here. And I would like to thank you, Mr. Joseph, for giving the opportunity to speak. And maybe I would like to uh, know little feedback as how my session has been with everybody, how the experience of my session would like to know. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. We request participant to share your views or feedback, or you can interact.
Okay.
Yeah,
Shall I
good
say?
evening, madam.
Good evening.
Yeah, thank you, first of all, on behalf of ISTD, that you accepted our invitation and you spare your valuable time. So it is always a pleasure to listen such kind of topic from the person who is having a hectic schedule, like in civil service, service to the country. So definitely, whatever you said, your each word is very valuable for all of us. And the last thing, as you said, like you have given opportunity to a student to speak, and that really helped to boost somebody's self-esteem and self-efficacy. So such kind of example really help all of us and give a guidance that how we can upbring the moral of the things. As you mentioned, many practical examples also, like increasing rate of suicide uh, in and around us, right? Every day it is increasing. So that is also a matter of concern for all of us. So that is also the mission of ISTD, that at least we should be sensitized and talking about such issues, and then relating with the concept like life and balance and the other concepts. So at least that sensitivity and awareness will increase when we discuss and talk about such things. So uh, we definitely work very hard in this regard, not only by organizing such things, but personally also. We have a team of 105 members at ISTD Anand. So definitely, if there is some personal counseling is also required, we have experts at the psychology department also. So definitely, if in future also, if you have any kind of need or anything which you can utilize in ISTD platform, then you are most welcome. Even for any other topic also, if you feel that you should talk as a practitioner, then also you are most welcome, madam. Myself, Dr. Raju Rathod. I'm a founder, chairman of ISTD, and presently the National Council member of ISTD. So thank you once again.
Thank you very much.
Mm,
Pleasure knowing you did such a good job. So I think as discussed, ISTD is giving a platform
yes, madam.
to talk
Y-
and share the experience.
Your 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 voice is
This
not
is
clear, madam.
the
I think there is-
this is the base for everybody's life. Sharing is very much needed in this
Your voice is not
life, I would
clear.
say.
I
Hello,
think there is
Huh.
yeah.
hello. Is it audible to all?
Madam.
Yeah, now
Yeah, yeah. Barabar.
Hello.
Yeah, please continue, madam.
No, I was just saying that ISTD is giving platform to various kinds of people to talk and share such things is one of the example here that we talk about work-life balance. Talking and knowing somebody's perspective, somebody's knowledge may help us achieve this missing link, I would say, in the life. Good interaction is very much needed, and I think has very much limited their expansion of reading books or going through good books, I would say. So at this point of time, it is very much necessary that we have a healthy talks and healthy discussions everywhere. That would be the crux of today's my topic. Anybody else would like to say anything? Or shall we sum up the session here?
Yes, madam. I would like to say something.
Yes, please.
Yes, thank you first of all for sharing your insights regarding what we face at workplace and the challenges regarding communication. So I was actually able to relate those challenges what we face at workplace with our colleagues or our boss and at every level and making better decisions at the time. So thank you so much, madam, for sharing your valuable things.
Thank you so much. I'm so pleased to know.
Okay, madam, moving further for the final words. On behalf of ISTD Anand chapter, we thank you, Shweta madam, for your valuable time and interaction with us. And we will be requesting you to take in future regarding the preparation of this kind of examinations and encouraging more youth or students to join civil services, right, based on your availability of the time. And just to inform all other participants, like we are putting this video on our YouTube channel. So then afterwards also you can see and understand this topic, and even you can recommend other friends or colleagues or students to watch this and come out with these issues raised by the madam as a society.
बस
Only we can work on the betterment of the society, which is the motto of ISD Anand chapter. So thank you very much, all of you, to join us. And Madam, thank you very much for this beautiful introduction. Thank you.